The man went online and was surprised to find his wife's pregnancy ultrasound was exactly the same as the photo on the internet. At first, he thought his wife was faking her pregnancy to deceive him, but he saw her belly getting bigger with his own eyes. So he thought it was just his eyesight that made him look at the wrong picture. But the next day, when he came to the stadium to watch his eldest son's game, a strange woman suddenly came up to him and told him that his wife was faking her pregnancy. Adam was shocked because he didn't know this strange woman, but she knew her family very well. He asked her who she was and what she wanted, but when she heard that, she took the opportunity to run away. He chased her out and only got a blurry shot of her back. The woman's words stuck in his head. Although his wife had already had a miscarriage, he still wanted to check if he had really faked the pregnancy. So he secretly opened his bank statement and found that he had bought an ultrasound photo pregnancy test and a fake tummy from a shopping website. He felt betrayed and immediately went to his wife to ask why she lied to him. He expected his wife to deny it, but she admitted it frankly, but said it was not the right time to tell him why. Adam continued to question his wife, who described a woman to him. Said he often went to a cafe where a woman disguised as a pregnant woman often appeared. Adam didn't understand what he had to do with you faking a pregnancy, but his wife didn't explain and left the house immediately. She didn't show up until the next day. As a teacher, she said she had to attend the school's awards ceremony in the evening. She wanted Adam to come and tell her the truth over dinner. Adam agreed, but then, strangely enough, his wife didn't show up even though the ceremony was almost over, and he couldn't get through on the phone. It was only when he got home that he got a text message from his wife saying she had to go out to calm down and not to look for her. But 2 days later, she still didn't come home or go to school. Even the female colleague he was closest to didn't know where she was. Adam suddenly realized that his wife had disappeared. Then he remembered that the woman she'd told him about, the one who'd pretended to be pregnant, might know where she was. He spends the whole day in a cafe waiting for her, but she told him she hadn't seen Colin in 2 or 3 years. She didn't even know where he was, and that made Adam even more anxious. His quest to find his wife began when the mystery woman told him she was faking her pregnancy. So he went back to the stadium and asked the security guard for the woman's license plate number. Then he hired a detective to find her, but the detective found out that the car was rented, and the renter was a girl named Kim. Adam instantly recognized her as the mystery woman's accomplice, but unfortunately, he was using a false name, so he couldn't find out her identity or address. Just when the search for his wife had come to a standstill, Adam was suddenly called home by the police that his wife may have stolen money from the football club. But Adam immediately denied that his wife, who did the club's accounts, was anything but a scumbag. But the police insisted on seeing him. Luckily, the male neighbor came out and spoke up for his wife, so the police left for a while. Adam had to tell the neighbor about the disappearance of his brother. Since he also worked at the club, he promised to notify Adam as soon as he heard anything. The next day Adam received his wife's phone bill and found out that she had spoken to the male neighbor on the morning of her disappearance. He immediately went to the door and asked him what he'd been talking about. The southern neighbor put on a helpless face. It was actually my brother-in-law who stole the money and I found out. She begged me to give him a week to come up with the money. This made Adam angry, thinking he'd pushed Liam too hard and that's why his wife was afraid to come home. And it made him afraid to tell his 2 sons that his wife was missing. He had to lie to them that she was away at a seminar. But his instincts told him something was wrong. The eldest son took out his mobile phone app and tried to track his mother's mobile phone. He found her 3 kilometers from home, but not moving. They rushed the phone to Adam, who was thrilled to see it and immediately went out to find his wife. His 2 sons followed, but then a detective came to the house looking for him, so the 4 of them went to look for her. The fake pregnant wife has disappeared. The 4 of them went to look for her. Suddenly they realized that the poor thing had moved. Looking at the direction of the train station, Adam stepped on the accelerator and went to the station. One of them went to check a boarding gate, but they didn't realize they'd missed a boarding gate. The son saw his mom's mobile phone signal go with the car. By the time Adam realized, it was too late. They drove on and eventually stopped in the countryside, but there was no one here. Where the hell was Colleen? That's when the son suddenly suspected his mom was on the bridge. The son suddenly suspected that his mother was on the bridge, and he took the lead and climbed up as fast as he could. But when the 3 of them climbed up, they were shocked by what they saw, because only his mobile phone is here. The youngest son was scared and thought his mother must have jumped off the bridge. He said, "No way, Mom would never leave you." That night, Adam managed to put his son to sleep. Then he went to the police to report his wife missing. When he got home, he took out his wife's address book to look for clues. He found that he'd left a note for someone with the prefix bitch. Curiosity made Adam check the number. It turned out to be a female colleague of his from 2 years ago. He used to be close to her at work. At the same time, he remembered the fake pregnant woman his wife had mentioned. She said she faked it to get attention. So his wife couldn't have faked a pregnancy because she was jealous of her coworker? But he didn't have time to ask for confirmation. Another strange thing happened. The police came to our door again and said that Leanne might be the murderer, because 2 days ago, a cafe owner was murdered, and the police found the key bag that he used at school at the scene. Now that he was missing again, the police had to be suspicious. Adam was shocked, but insisted that his wife wouldn't kill anyone and told them the whole story of his his disappearance. He hoped the policewoman would continue to help him find his wife. Now that the murder and the disappearance are linked, the policewoman has to work on both cases. He asked his colleagues to search the cafe. He asked his colleagues to check the street surveillance of the cafe on the day the owner was killed to see if there was any sign of Colin. But strangely, one of the male detectives deleted a section of the surveillance when no one was looking. I'll explain why he deleted it later. On the other hand, Adam received a report from the detective he hired. He found the address of the mystery woman and her accomplice, the Golden Girl. With the help of some special black magic, Adam was ecstatic and immediately went to find them to ask about his wife's whereabouts. The male neighbor, who happened to be there, heard the news and went along with him. When he got there, Adam really saw the rental car, but at the same time, the Golden Girl upstairs noticed them coming. Worried that she'd get into trouble, she called the security guard downstairs. She lied to the security guard downstairs, saying that Adam was her ex-boyfriend who had committed domestic violence. So to protect him, the security guard told Adam that there was no such tenant here. But Adam wasn't stupid. He waited for Kim to show up. As expected, she tried to run away in the afternoon. He chased after her in his car, but with his knowledge of the streets, he got into a dozen alleyways. But Adam tried his best and almost got hit by a big truck. Luckily, a male neighbor stopped the truck in time and there was no accident. But the woman got away. Though he couldn't get a lead on his wife's disappearance, he was grateful to the detective. It so happened that the detective's house was to be demolished and sold to a real estate company. The company was owned by Adam's estranged father. So in exchange, Adam wanted to help the detective keep his house, because the detective said that there were memories of his wife before she left. So he tried to negotiate with his father, but as a capitalist, he would never give in. And when they met, he asked about his daughter-in-law, Colleen. Adam had to tell him that he'd been missing for a week. After hearing this, his father felt something was wrong and said he was going to hire a detective to help find him. And because Adam and his father failed to negotiate, the next day the detective's house was going to be demolished and he was still trying to stop it, until Adam intervened to dissuade him. The team was able to demolish the house, but a few minutes later they found a body dug up. A body is dug up in the detective's house. Adam and everyone else was shocked, and the detective said sorry to him. Adam thought the body was Colin, but then the detective, who was brought to the police station for investigation, explained that the dead body was actually his wife. Years ago, his wife had an affair and wanted to leave him, leaving his young daughter behind. He didn't want her to leave, so he killed her in an argument. He then made a hole in the wall and sealed the body in with cement. Adam was so shocked that he didn't get over it. On the other hand, his father had already found another detective for him. When Adam told the whole story and mentioned the mystery woman, suddenly, his father said that a few days ago, a woman in a hat also approached him. She said she had a child outside. He took out a photo of the woman and Adam saw that it was the same woman. At that moment, he suddenly remembered that maybe the detective still had the results of the investigation that he hadn't had time to tell himself. Luckily, the detective's things were temporarily stored in the storeroom by his father. So father and son searched through it with the idea of trying to find something. But Adam never expected to find a suspicious family photo of his son. The detective was related to the mysterious woman, but luckily, they knew she was the detective's daughter. With the help of the new detective, Adam finally got his correct address. He planned to report to the policewoman immediately. On the other hand, the policewoman was investigating the Liang case and came to ask for help from the male detective. However, this is when he received a call from the station. Next, his black colleague told him the shocking news. He found out that a section of the cafe's surveillance had been deleted during the time the owner was killed, and he found the deleted footage, but it showed that the male cop was the last person the victim saw in the first 10 minutes of his life. He's the prime suspect. The policewoman was frozen in place and said she was at the police officer's house. At that moment, the male cop suddenly showed his evil face and tried to control him. The policewoman desperately fled to the toilet and locked the door to jump down from the upper floor. But he was about to retire. His body wasn't strong enough to stand up after a fall. The male cop took the opportunity to take him home. The policewoman pleaded with him to calm down, but the man said there was no turning back. Before killing him, he decided to tell the truth. It turns out that the male cop was also taken by the mysterious female musician. So was the cafe owner. So the cop wanted him to help him find the mystery woman. But the owner didn't cooperate when he gave his testimony. The cop was in a bad mood with his wife. In a moment of impulse, he shot the innocent witness. He had to leave to deal with the man. The policewoman took the opportunity to run out the back door. She stumbled to a neighbor's house and called the police. Until half an hour later, colleagues came to save the policewoman. But as for the male cop, she had realized something was wrong and drove off, and took her mobile phone with her. But then he got a call from Adam, who said he had found the address of the mystery woman and wanted the police to send someone. The male police officer directly induced him to tell him the address of the mystery woman. After hanging up, Adam came to the place alone. But the next moment he was knocked out.